Hi guys, it's Katie here from Bella Creativa, and today I wanted to do another video in the series that I've been doing using the Memoria SVG cutting files that I have designed. So far we have done the pages and matted them all. So here's all our pages and they've all been matted, and so we need to do the cover next and put them so that we can put the pages into the cover. So I will link in the box down below a link to my Etsy store in case you're interested in my SVG cutting files. And so far I've been using a paper line with my SVG files. Well, I've been using a bit of a mixed bag actually. I had these two paper lines that didn't have very many pages of scrapbook paper in them, so I've sort of combined those two together. And then to make sure that I had enough, I also used a few pages out of this Craft paper line. This one's called Floral Romance, this one was called Always and Forever, and this one's called Treasured Moments. And then just to make absolutely sure I had enough paper, I also used some from the Pen and Ink Craft paper line. So hopefully with all of those bits of paper I will have enough to do the whole album. So today I'm going to do the cover. So what I have done is I've already cut out the pages that I need. So in here I can just show you which pages or which pieces I've cut out using my Cricut Explore Air 2.0. So I have cut out the spine, this spine here, and two of these covers. And this is for the 6-page album, which is what I've been working on so far. And this spine over here is for a 4-page album. So today I've cut out one of these spines plus two of these covers. So I've already cut them out here. So I've just used some mount board that I had left over. You know, when you mount a picture and you put this, you put the mount board around the edge. It's pretty thick, and I wasn't too sure whether I wanted to put that through my Cricut. So what I actually did was just cut out some templates on my Cricut using some spare paper. And then I just traced around it and cut around it. Now, if you weren't using something so thick, if you were using a thinner or medium weight chipboard or something like that, then the Cricut or your cutting machine, whatever it is that you use, shouldn't have any problems. But I wanted to use up some of these bits and pieces that I had laying around. So I've got two covers in my spine, and all I'm going to do to put them together is use this tape. This is bookbinding tape that I bought from an art store here in Perth in Western Australia. That's where I am. But previously I have used masking tape, I've used duct tape. You can use fabric of some description. What else could you use? I know a lot of people use Tyvek, but I don't have access to that easily. So all I'm going to do is make sure that I've got a piece of tape that's long enough to cover or go down the length of my spine, and then I'm just going to stick that to my spine with, you know, half of it hanging over so that it can attach to the cover. And I'm just going to give that a really light burnish with my bone folder, and then I can stick my cover straight down onto there. Sorry, I'm going to do it this way because I'm right-handed, and I'm going to leave a pretty decent gap because we want to make sure that it folds nice and easily. So I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, 3/8 of an inch, something like that, just guess. And then I'm just going to burnish that down nicely. And I am going to fold these edges over, but I'm just going to trim this little bit where I was trying to get it free from the roll because it's a bit raggedy. And I'm just going to fold that over. and the same on this side. And then I'm just going to do exactly the same thing for this side. So turn that over, find the end of my tape again. There we go. Make sure I've got a piece that's long enough. And give it a trim. So I think this is pretty similar to duct tape, but I think it's got something sort of woven through it as well. So it's well, they call it book tape. So all right, so we've got about halfway there. And I'll turn it over. And then I'm just going to line this one up exactly the same way as I did before. Maybe about, might be a little bit more than I want. I mean, if you wanted to be technical, you could certainly measure the gap, but I'm just going to rough it. Which I don't do a lot of, I must say. I'm not a rough it kind of a person, but for this bit, I think we'll be okay. I'm going to plunge that down nicely. And I'm going to fold over the edges there like that as well. And then I'm also going to put some tape on this side, so you can see one gap's a little bit larger than the other. But in the scheme of things, it's really not going to make any difference. As long as we've got enough space so that it really, really nice and easily folds, we'll be fine. So, then I'm going to do this one. Sorry about the noise. And trim that off. And make sure that's sitting pretty flat. And then I'm just going to pop this one on here. Just like that. And burnish it down. And I'm going to run down the edge here so that those two bits of tape stick together. Burnish it down. And the same on this side. And then I'm going to cover it, and I have just got some book paper, just that really simple craft paper that you use to cover your school books. I think that's what I'm going to use, because I am going to mat the outside of the album so that you won't really see very much of the, oh, it's so sticky. You won't see very much of the actual cover or what we're going to wrap it in, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just going to use something really simple. Burnish that down. Oops, I just made a mess of that. It should be okay. It's got a little wrinkle there. It'll be fine. So the thing about this tape, and it's the same thing with duct tape, is that it's got a really smooth surface, and I am a bit worried that it might not take the glue very well. So what I'm going to do is just take this little bit of sandpaper, and this is 240 grit. I don't suppose it matters too much what it is, but I'm just going to give it a light sand just to hopefully give it the opportunity to stick a little bit better when the paper goes on. And I'll just do this across the top a little bit on the other side. And then I'm just going to run along the bottom as well. So that's that done. And I'm just going to give it a quick brush over just to get any dust off. It's all done. So this is the paper that I bought. Excuse if you can hear a noise, it's my dog banging on the door. And so you can see it's just book wrap paper that you buy from your, stationers or newsagents, all those sorts of places. And when I bought it, I thought, fabulous, it's exactly what I want. But then when I unrolled it, it's really shiny on this side, which is a bit of a problem. But I thought maybe if I just give that a little sand, I should be good. So I just want to measure it and make sure that I've got a piece that's big enough. So, and then I'll just trim it off, just roughly at this stage. I can cover a few albums with this roll, that's for sure. Now, what I like to do is use my ruler and a pencil, if I can find either of those. Here we go. And just rule a line across the bottom here. I'll go down as far as I can. So I've just lined the, excuse me, I've just lined the edge of my ruler up with that side that's not all wonky, and hopefully that'll be pretty good. Doesn't really matter. It's gonna all line down there. It's really faint. I can't barely see it. Maybe a pen might be a better idea. Let's see if a pen works. Try that again. See if my pen will work on this plastic wrapped or plastic backed paper. Yeah, that's a bit better. And then, so my ruler is 1 inch wide, so this is going to give me 1 inch all the way around to be able to wrap it over the edges, and then I won't have too much bulk. So now I've got this nice corner here, so I'm going to line up my cover on the corner and up on along those lines. And then I'm just going to run my pencil along there, my pen I should say, along here as well. And then I can take my cover away. So I'll give myself 1 inch down this side as well. So I'll just line it up on the line there, which is the edge of the book, edge of the album. And the same along here. Now I'm not being too pedantic about it, I just want to make sure that I've got enough to wrap around it, but not so much that it's really bulky. So just run it along there. And the only other place I'm not sure that I have done is along this bit here, which is what I meant to do to start with. Just one along there. Sorry, my paper's a bit difficult to work with. Okay, so let me just roll it the other way for a second. Hopefully that'll straighten it out good. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim around the edges here so that I have a nice piece to work with, and I can't find my other scissors. I don't know what I've done with them. So my bigger scissors. Oh, hang on. Here they are. I found them. I just buried under everything else. So I'll just trim along these outside lines. And I'm not too worried about being perfect, as I said. And that's just going to be a little scrap. Along here. Sorry, I'm dealing with this difficult to manage piece of paper. I'll get rid of those two bits. Have a look. And I'll just trim this little bit off the edge here. Which is probably not necessary, but I just can't help myself. There we go, getting a little sliver. I might just try rolling it this way this time. See if we can get it to flatten out a bit. Right, looks a bit better. Now, so you can see how shiny it is. I'm really worried that that's not going to work very well with my glue. So I'm just going to give this a little sand with my sandpaper as well. Of course, you wouldn't have to do this if you didn't have this shiny paper, but unfortunately I didn't know I had shiny paper. Okay, hopefully that little light sand will help me with getting it to stick. I'll just wipe off any of the fine dust. And then I just need to stick my cover down. So what I'm going to use today is PVA glue because it's cheap as chips, and I hope that it will do the job with making it stick. Now somewhere I had a here we go, a plastic gift card, and I'm just going to put some of this glue straight on here and then sort of smush it out with my my gift card, my plastic card. So we'll see if I've got enough going on here. Just going to smooth it out all the way around. Make sure it goes right to the edge and into the corners. I can hear my dog. It's quite early in the morning. I got up before the dog and she's just woken up, and now she's coming in, or she wants to come in, but she will just come in and go back to sleep and snore really badly. Alright, so I'll just leave that there. Now, I think I will put this side down. So all I'm going to do is just line up my corners because I've already drawn the area that I want to put it down, so that's nice and easy. And I just need to lay it down and squash it. And then I'm just going to grab my mat because I'm going to turn it over, but I do have some glue on the sides. Now, a brayer would be really good for this, but I don't know what I've done with my brayer. So I'm just going to rub it down, get it to stick nicely. Hopefully it will, because I've sanded that glossy paper edge or side. Now, I can still see my tape through here, but I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to put a mat on here and a mat on each side and the spine, and so therefore you won't be able to see the edges, and I'm going to ink up the edges and distress them a little bit, so I think it'll be okay. Alright. Now, I did have a, excuse me, I've got this other scraper actually. Maybe I should give that a try. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but well, you could use another gift card as well. Just make sure that it's really nice and stuck down. Okay, so then I'll just take my gluey mat away and, sorry, making lots of of noise. Then I'm just going to miter these edges a little bit. I know that people are very cautious of how they do this, but I'm not so much. I'm just making sure I've got a little bit of space here. I might need to come back and trim that later, but for now I don't have to worry about that so much. And this one. Get rid of those little gluey bits. Right. So now I can do my wrapping, and I think I'll start with the long sides, and so I'm just going to put a bit more glue along here. I'm going to make sure that I've got some glue right on that edge there. A bit of glue along there. And I'm just going to scrape that glue out to the edges. And then I'm just going to fold it over. Excuse me, I'm going to turn it around towards me again. Just bend it a bit. And then just fold it over. So you don't have to use glue. I think you could probably use tape as well. I just prefer glue. I just prefer using glue. I get really annoyed with having to pull off the backing of the tape all the time, so I would rather just use glue. So then I'm just going to find my bone folder again, which I've got hiding here, and I'm just going to run along the top of that so that I get a nice square edge along there. That looks good. Let's see how we go with folding. Might just go down here as well. Wipe off the glue that just seeped out. Make sure she's stuck down well. I find sometimes the worst place for it not sticking is right here, and it might not help that I have this shiny tape, but hopefully we'll be okay. Let's see, I fold it up. See how it always just comes up that little bit there and here. So I just use my bone folder, and same here. Wipe the excess glue off. Still doing it a little bit, but I think once it dries it should be okay. Let's try this side. Yeah, that's definitely buckling. Oh, I couldn't decide whether to say buckling or bubbling, so I didn't say either. Well, alright, so let's see how that goes. It's still doing it a little bit. Hopefully once it's dry it'll be better. But you know, it's not the end of the world either if it does, because we can come along, put a little bit of glue in there afterwards. And also not to forget that we're going to have mats on each side as well. So I'll just do the same on this side. Bit of glue. Coming up. And then scraping it. I'm sure that if you've made mini albums before, you've seen people cover the albums with paper. So my way is not the only way. Everybody does it a bit differently. But it's probably also not rocket science. So, again, I'm just going to fold up and then pull it over, flatten it out. I like to use my rag to make sure that I get rid of all the extra glue that oozes out. So it seems like that glossy side of the paper is sticking okay with the PVA glue, so that's good, because I was worried about that. blob of glue coming out that end. And I can see that this is going to be the worst place for it sticking, or not sticking I should say. And when I really get in here with the bone folder, the glue oozes out, but then I really know that it's contacting. Okay, and then so I'm just going to run along the top again as well to make sure I have that nice square flat edge across the top, and it just makes it look so nice. Okay, and then it's just these edges. Now I do have little bits extra here, so I'm going to get my little itty bitty scissors. Well, I was going to, but I can't find them, so I'll just use this, and I'm just going to cut that little V along there and just trim that off to the edge of the book like that. Oh, I've got the edge of the book. So then I can get a little bit closer with this trim here. So then when that folds over, should be nice and neat. A little bit of a funny little edge there, so I'll just give that a little trim. I'll try to. So then when that folds over, it should do it pretty well. Okay, so same again, bit of glue. So this will be the third album that I've made using these SVG files, and I love them, and every time I use it I find another way of using one of the elements to do something different, so that's been really fun. I made an enormous album for my son. I might do a flip through of that at some stage to show you all the different ways that I used each of the elements there. Alright, so I'm just going to fold that over and squash it down like I did every other week. Ugh. I don't know about everybody else, but I am a messy crafter. Yeah, that's pretty good. Get my gluey bone folder into it. Squash it down. Get that glue off. Nice. And then again, I'm just going to run it down here. Oh, there's a little bit of glue oozed out the edge. And to get that nice square edge, look at that. A bit of glue came out the other side. I just think that makes all the difference. Fabulous. Okay, and then the same on this side, and we are wrapped. It's a wrap. Right, so this little bit here doesn't have a little bit that I need to trim off. This little overlapping triangle bit. So I'll just trim this bit here off. Okay. Glue. Oh, hang on. Let's just give it a whirl first. Make sure we're happy with it. Yep. Okay, so some glue. Run it along that edge there. Make sure that it sticks nicely. And then pull it out to the edges. I use way too much glue, which is why it always oozes out, but I think it's easier to wipe away glue than it is to add it. Well, that's my theory anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to fold that over. And wipe out that glue. Just get that out of the way. Go ahead with my bone folder again. feel like that's really nicely stuck down now along that edge. Got the glue. Okay. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with the way that's stuck down. And so I just need to let that dry now. Let's flip over, see how we go here. Oh, that's good. Alright, I'll just flip over here. That seems pretty good too. Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. I was a little bit worried about that paper. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to dry, and then we'll come back and do a bit more. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so my cover has dried nicely now. I'm really quite happy with it, and I have gone around the edges and inked it up with Tim Holtz Distress ink in the Vintage Photo. I used the oxide. So now I'm just going to do some matting, and I think I might even do the binding and maybe even put in the pages. So let's start with, I was thinking about closures, and I thought maybe I would just use some ribbon, have a really simple ribbon closure. So I've got this ribbon here, so it wasn't all crinkly like this. I just lightly went over it with my heat gun to get it to wrinkle up a bit, and I did mess it up in a couple of places and burnt holes in it, but I can live with that. It, goes with the shabby sort of look of the whole thing. So all I'm going to do is just attach it on the outside, in the middle, on the edge on both sides, so then we can adjust it when we want to put it together. But then we'll put the mat over the top so that you can't see where it's stuck down. So I'm going to use my fabric glue for this. So I'm using Helmer's fabric glue, which is probably the closest Australian equivalent to Fabri-Tac, and it's really messy. Okay, so I think the first thing I need to do, because I don't like guesstimating any measurements, is find sort of roughly where the halfway mark is along here. So I'm going to use centimetres because that's what I am used to. So it's 21 centimetres long, so 10.5 is about the centre point, so I'll just mark that there. And the same on this side. Just put a little mark at 10.5. And then I sort of, so it'll be roughly right. Roughly. But if I tried to do it without measuring, it would be roughly terribly wrong. Okay, so I think I will start by attaching it to this side. So I'm just going to put some glue down on here, right up to the edge, and then coming in, because as I said, we're going to put a mat on here to cover it up. I might even go a little bit further back, and then I'm just going to attach this down like this, and squash it down, let that glue do its thing on that side. Ugh, covered in glue. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I thought about different ways to do a closure, but I decided that I just wanted to do something quite simple. And of course there are a million different ways that you could do your cover closure or your closure, but for today, I'm just going to go with this. So I'm just going to stick that down on there. And the reason I'm using the fabric glue is not so much that it's a ribbon, but it tacks a little bit quicker than a PVA sort of glue. Right, so I'll just leave that for a minute, and then I'm just going to attach my mats to that. Might put a little bit more there. Such a grot. Squash that down on there. Hopefully the mat will cover up, it won't get too bulky. Maybe a little bit there. Okay, so what can I use to squash that down? I might just use my trusty gift card and just squash that down. And the same on this side. I'm not sure that made any difference whatsoever, but anyway. Right, so then I cut out some of the mats for the covers. So in my SVG cutting files, the dark coloured elements, the dark coloured pieces are the actual elements themselves. And then if we go to the back here, we'll find the mats, and the mats are the light pink so that we can tell the difference. So then right at the back here, I have got the mats for the cover. So I have cut out 2 of those for the outside and 2 for the inside. And this larger spine here is 6-page mat for the spine. So I've cut out 1 of those, and I've cut out 4 of these. And so the 2 of them will be for the inside. And then I have also cut out, which we can do in a minute as well, the binding. So here I have the 6-page binding. So I've already cut this out, and where the dotted lines are all the score marks, and I put my score tool in my Cricut so that all of those score lines have already been done for me. And on the next page is the 4-page spine binding if you were only doing a 4-page. So I've cut all of those pieces out, and they're just here. So these are the 2 mats that I've cut for the front cover and back cover, and I've also cut a piece for the spine. And then for the inside, I've cut 2 mats for the inside front cover and the inside back cover. And then I have also cut out and already inked up my binding. So we'll have a look at that in a minute too. So let's just start on the outside and attach our mats. So now when I put this mat down, it will nicely cover up this ratty bit underneath. So get out my glue. I love this glue, but it can be a bit stringy. So you can sort of end up with stringy bits all over the place. That's okay. So I don't know if you can hear it because it is behind the door, but my dog is laying right outside my door and she is snoring, of course. And I'm hoping you can't hear it. Okay, I don't think there's a direction. I feel like I want to put it this way. I don't know why, because I don't think there's a direction, but anyway, we'll do that. Okay, so I'm just lining it up and sticking it down. Making sure it's nicely glued around the edges. And then I'll do the front. I don't think that there's a direction for that. So when I do the covers, I usually choose to use quite a plain piece of scrapbook paper if I am planning on doing a lot of embellishing, because you don't actually get to see much of it if you've got quite a bit of embellishing on there. So this time I have chosen a really plain scrapbook paper, just this sort of lacy look paper. And I'm just going to pop that down. Make sure that that's stuck down really well along there. And that looks pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but... And I might just grab my credit card and just make sure it's stuck down well there. And there. And then just put this matte bit here. And then aside from some embellishing, the outside of the cover's done. Oh, I feel like I want to put it this way. Okay, that'll do. I'm going to line it up as best I can. There we go. So now you can't see where that tape was, that book tape, because by the time we've put the mats on and done the inking, you can't even see it. So there's our front cover. Or there's our outside cover, I should say. Oh, that looks good. I'm happy with that. Yeah. Okay, so then the inside. So I need to put in my binding piece first. So this is my binding for my 6-page binding, for my 6-page album. So I've cut it out. I'll just move that out the way for a second. I've cut it out, and then I've and all the lines have already been scored, but I didn't. And then I've just gone along and got glue all over me, sorry, and folded each of the folds, and then burnished it with my bone folder. But I thought I'd save you the drama of watching me do that. And then for each of one of these that doesn't have the little cut out, I have inked it up, because that's the bit that we'll see. And these other bits we're going to fold up into the sort of flaps that hold the pages on. So what I'm going to do is flip it over, but for each of these little divoted ones, all we need to do is glue them together. So I'm just going to turn that over and put some glue on each one of these. Now, you could use score tape. I don't. I'm just not a tape girl. I don't trust tape. So I'm just going to put some glue along there. And then I'm just going to fold that other bit back on itself. And find my bone folder. What have I done with it? I'm forever losing it. Here it is. And I'm just going to give it a really good burnish. And glue just oozed out the edges, which makes me think that I should get out my mat. And so I'll just wipe up a bit of glue. Right. So then I'm just going to burnish that, and then it should stick nicely. Glue's oozed out the edges, but that's okay. I know it's really well stuck then. And you know, what's crafting without a bit of glue mess, I say. Okay, so then when I open that one up, I fold this one back across here like this. I have got glue there, but that's fine because that's going to be against the spine. And then we have our first flap like that. So I'm just going to do that all the way along. So then we have 6 flaps, and they've already been scored for us. So we didn't have to do any measuring or cutting. Made the most of those expensive cutting machines that we have. I try to use it for as much as I can because they do cost a lot, and it can be hard to justify spending so much money on something that's just for crafting. You know, you can feel a little bit guilty about it. So, you know, if you make the most of something that you've spent a lot of money on, then you can feel a lot better about having spent all of that money. Well, at least that's how I justify it in my mind. I'm just burnishing it down. I'll get glue everywhere, but again, that's okay. So then here's our second one. Just give that a wipe. So our pages are going to attach to this, and this system is I think it's Kathy Order King's Hidden Hinge. It's called Hidden Hinge. And again, I'm just going to put some glue along one side of one of these little pieces that have already got the cutout, and then fold it over on the next one. Wash it down, burnish it, get that glue oozing out the edge, wipe it up. Just make sure it's really good and stuck. And then fold this one back like that. It's looking good. Okay, I've got 3 flaps. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Happy with that. Okay, next one. again, going to use down one side. Sorry, I'm going to go down one side of this bit here that's already got a little nip out of it. And then fold it over on itself against that next one with the nip on it. Burnish it nicely. That glue coming out the edges, so I know it's pretty well stuck there. And fold it back over on itself. Burnish again. And then I should have 4 flaps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. 2 more to go. And just get that. Okay. Again, down that one side. Fold it over on itself so that the 2 pieces next to each other with the little snips out of the top and bottom are lined up. Squash it down. Burnish, 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 burnish. And then fold it back over on itself again. And burnish, burnish, burnish. One more. So it comes out really nice and neatly because it's been so precisely cut by the machine. Yeah. And then the last one. And fold it over on itself. Burnish. Glue oozing out. And then flip this one back. And burnish, burnish, burnish. And we should have 6 flaps all ready to go. Fantastic. Now I might just, can't help myself, I'll just keep going like this for a bit. And then that is ready to put in our album. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 flaps ready to go. Just get that bit of glue off there. Give them a nice fold so they easily fold both ways. Okay, so I'll take away my mat. And I'm going to bring back my album. And on the inside, I'm going to put my spine. My binding. Now, I'm going to attempt to line this up nicely. So this is in metric 21 centimeters, and this is in metric 20 centimeters. So I should have ½ centimeter on each side. So I'll just line that up. So we've got 21, and I'm just going to put a little ½ centimeter mark here so that I know that I want it to line up like that. You know, you could just slap it down. You don't have to go to this effort. I just prefer to get it to work it out. So then, what we want to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the middle section here, and I want it to be sort of lined up in the middle here. So this is 7 centimeters wide, so 3½ centimeters is about here, and that would be in the middle of my spine, roughly speaking. So then I know that I want to line up this middle section here with the middle of, I can't see that mark, can I? With this mark here, I can just rub that out later. So I'm going to line it up like that, and if I do that, it should be pretty well centered. So let's just do it, okay? We're just going to do it. All right, so I'm just going to put glue all over here. I'm going to make sure I've got lots on here because we want to make sure that it sticks really well to the spine. And in fact, maybe I'll do the flaps after I've got this set down. So I'll just make sure I've got lots of glue on this section here where we have all of those folds. And then here we go with my lining up. So I want it to be lined up there and there and about there. Right. And are we about right up the top? See? Can't see? I hope so if my head's in the way. I haven't even brushed my hair yet this morning. Okay. That seems about right. So I'm just going to really make sure that that's stuck down. Get rid of that glue that's come out of the top so that I don't keep spreading it around. And make sure that these bits that are hard up against the spine are really well attached. Ooh. And then go back the other way. Make sure these ones are attached. See, that one's coming up a little bit just there. Wipe that glue off. Nice and hard. And then this one. Wipe the glue off. And last one. Fabulous. Oh, I've got there. Okay, so now I'm just going to stick the flaps, these side bits down, but I just wanted to make sure that this was well stuck, and I still think it needs to be a little bit more. Let's just leave those up for a second. Okay, so now I'm just going to attach, I've put some glue on these bits. And I'm going to lay that down and burnish it. And now I'm just going to use my bone folder and run along that fold just there. Squash. Really want to make sure this bit's stuck on because it needs to, this binding stuck on because it needs to hold all of the weight of all the pages, which is a big tough job for it. So, and just going to make sure that it's really well nicely applied up here because I'm. Right, so I'll just leave that one for a minute and I'll just turn it around and do the same on this side. More glue. I'm sorry, I think I keep speaking quietly. I probably need to turn the volume up when I edit this video because I can feel myself, you know, when you start concentrating and you start talking more and more quietly, I can feel myself doing that. Okay, stick that one down. I'm gonna get out my little rag again just to get up any glue from around the edges. And then go crazy with my bone folder again. See what a difference that makes when you use the bone folder. It really makes sure that it's stuck nicely. It gets that glue to ooze out. And then again, I'll just run down this fold line. Okay, excellent. All right. So we'll just give that a bit of time to set up. And in the meantime, I'm going to put these mats on here. And I've decided just to go with the plain craft mat, but you could of course use patterned scrapbook paper, or you could use fabric. But I just, at this stage, think I'm going to go with this. So these mats are the same as the mats that we used on the outside. Put plenty of glue on there and line them up. And that should do. Stick it down. That already looks so much better than when we could see all the tape and mat board. I'm a bit worried that this is going to be a long video, but it doesn't seem worth making another video just to insert the pages. So I think I'll just go ahead and put the pages here on this one. Right, so that is the inside. So we've got our binding. Let's make sure that it folds nicely. Lovely. Don't know, so we've got the outside cover matted, and we've got our little ribbon closure. And on the inside we've matted it and we've applied the binding. So now we can put our pages in. So I have got 6 pages, and I have already gone through and labelled them 1 to 6 for which way I want them to, you know, which ones I want to go where. So I start from the back, from my page 6, which is this one here. And it's easy to know that this is my spine side. So I'm just going to put some glue on this little flap here. This is the tricky bit with glue. It would definitely be good if I could find score tape that in Australia that worked well for me, that I was happy with, because this gets a bit messy. And then I'm just going to try and do the same on this side without getting glue everywhere, she says, but you know, it's highly likely that I will get glue everywhere. Right, so now I'm just going to take my page 6 and slide it onto that little flap. Like that, and then down here like that, and lay it down and make sure that it lines up pretty good. And I'm just going to squeeze it to make sure it sticks. And it will take a little bit longer to set up because of all the glue. So then I'll just lay it down. Oh, it's hard to do that without it sort of moving. Okay, just... Oh, the dog's scratching on the door now. She's not happy. And I'm just going to wipe this glue up that you can see here. And that, I do like this glue for this reason, that it kind of balls up and just disappears, so that's good. Good for somebody like me who makes such a mess with glue. Right, and there's our first page. Turn it over this way. Make sure we get rid of any glue that's seeped out there. One page in. And then my next one, page 5. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll just do one more, and then I don't think you want to sit here and watch me do all 6 pages. That could be really boring. So I'll just do one more, and then hopefully you get the idea. And of course, as I say, this is not my idea. This is not my, you know, this, and lots of people do it. So there's so many videos on YouTube that can show you how to do this. I just wanted to show you how I did it, particularly using my templates that, or my design, my SVG files that I've created. Slide it on there, squash it down. I'm just going to line it up with the top and bottom of that previous page, and then fold it down. Oh, it slid right out. Make sure it's lined up with the page before it. Give it a good squash. Make sure it attaches. And then I can lay it down, hopefully. And then I'm just going to clean up that glue. I don't want to lay it down too much just at this stage, because I really want the glue to attach where it is. So now I'll just make sure that this one's cleaned up pretty well. So I will now go ahead and attach the rest of the pages, and then I think in the next video I might do some, well, I think I've got maybe 2 more videos, and one will be doing the inserts and tags, and then one doing some embellishing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you're following along in the series. I'll put a link below to all of the other videos, and as I said, if you're interested in the SVG files, I'll also put a link below in the description box for my Etsy shop, so you can go and download the SVG files if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.